I deliver things for a living. Not packages like Amazon, not food like DoorDash. No, I'm what you'd call a private courier. The kind of guy who gets paid in cash, no questions asked. Most of the time, it's medical samples, biotech prototypes, even organs. Weird, right? But hey, it pays. Last Tuesday night, I got a rush job from a guy named Warren. Mid-50s, gray ponytail, twitchy eyes. He handed me a plain black case, locked with a thumbprint scanner. No label, no manifest. He told me, this gets delivered to 841 Grisham Street, apartment 3B. No stops, no delays. Do not open it. Do not look at it. If she asks questions, say nothing. She'll know what to do. She? He just stared at me. Don't be late. I looked up the address on my phone. It wasn't far, about 30 minutes across town, just past the old rail line where the GPS always glitches out. The rain started halfway there, one of those drizzles that makes the world feel like it's being erased. My windshield fogged up bad, and my wipers made that dry, gasping sound. I kept glancing at the case in my passenger seat. It was humming. Not loud, just a faint vibration, like a tuning fork pressed against bone. I told myself it was in my head. I wasn't going to have it with me for much longer. 841 Grisham was a squat brick building. Half the windows boarded up, the rest cracked like spider webs. No lights in the hallway. I had to use my phone flashlight to find the stairs. The place smelled like mildew and cat urine. But under that, something metallic, like old coins soaked in vinegar. 3B was at the end of the hall. The door looked newer than the others. Heavy, pale wood, with a brass knocker shaped like a lion's head. I knocked. Nothing. Knocked again, louder. I heard movement inside. A dragging sound. Footsteps that didn't match the rhythm of a healthy human gait. One heel, then the ball of the foot. The door opened a crack. A woman peeked through. Her face was wrong, mismatched. Eyes too far apart. Cheekbones too low. Like someone had reconstructed her from memory, but couldn't quite remember where everything went. "You have it?" she asked. Her voice was soft. I held out the case. "Got it right here, from Warren." She didn't move. "Put it on the floor," she said, "then leave." I did as she said, but I hesitated. "Look, I don't mean to pry," I said, "but what is this?" She slammed the door. I stood there for a moment, heart pounding for no reason I could name. I turned to go, and then I heard a click. Not from her apartment. From behind me, 3A was slowly opening. It had no handle, no visible hinges. Just a seam in the wall I hadn't noticed before. Blackness spilled out of it like smoke. A shape emerged. Tall, lanky. Its head scraped the ceiling. I stepped back. "Hey man, this isn't for you," I stammered. "Wrong address." It didn't stop. Its face was smooth. No eyes, no mouth. But it tilted its head toward me, like it could see me just fine. Its arms were too long, dragging fingers along the hallway walls as it stepped forward with unnatural grace. No footsteps, just presence. I backed into the wall and fumbled for the stairs. When I turned to run, the lights flickered on just once, and I saw that the hallway behind me didn't lead to stairs anymore. It led to more doors, endless rows of them, all labeled 3B. I panicked and turned back. The woman's door was wide open now. She stood there holding the case. She wasn't smiling, but her mouth was open. Not her lips, her whole face, like it unzipped. a gaping void of teeth and bone. The thing across the hall moved faster. What was left of her face looked at me and said, "You weren't supposed to see this." Then the walls buckled. I don't remember how I got out. I woke up behind the wheel of my car, parked in a grocery lot 4 blocks away. The passenger seat was empty. My phone was dead. My watch read 3 a.m., but I had no idea how long I'd been out. My clothes were damp, like I'd been submerged in cold water. I drove home. I was awake all night. Next morning, I called Warren's number. Disconnected. Went back to 841 Grisham. It wasn't there. Not boarded up, not condemned. Gone. An empty lot. Grass, like fresh stitches across raw earth. I asked around, but nobody remembered a building there, not even the junkies. But every night since, I hear a knock at my door. Soft. Rhythmic. Always followed by the faintest sound of dragging footsteps. I don't open the door. I don't sleep much anymore. But sometimes I dream of the hallway, of the smooth-faced thing, and of all those doors, all marked 3B. I deliver for a small courier outfit called Penumbra Logistics. Not your everyday mail. We specialize in sensitive items, legal evidence, biotech prototypes, even some underground stuff I don't ask too many questions about. Last Friday night, I got a text from my dispatcher, Tanya. No call, just a short message. One-off job, cash, no questions. Pick up in Barnet, drop to 421 Hemsley. Deliver only to Mrs. Teller, no one else. Confirm? Barnet was a near-abandoned district outside town. Power outages, squatters, and stories that didn't make the papers. But I'd just paid off a blown transmission, and the job came with triple pay. I replied, confirmed. I pulled into Barnet just before 9 p.m. The sky was smeared with red, like the end of the world had already started somewhere else. The pickup was at a building that looked more like a condemned shack than a pharmacy. Rusted shutters. I knocked twice. A panel in the steel grate slid open, revealing a man's eyes. Yellowed. Watered. Tired. "You're the courier?" he rasped. I nodded. "Here for the Hemsley run." He unlocked the door and shoved a box into my hands, shoebox-sized, bound in old paper. A single red thread held it shut, tied in an elegant bow. It was warm. "Don't stop. Don't peek. Don't listen to it," he said. I raised an eyebrow. "Listen to it?" He glared. "Straight to 421. If anyone else tries to take it, don't give it to them. They'll try." Before I could respond, the grate slammed shut behind him. I placed the box in the passenger seat. The second I did, my dashboard lights flickered. Just a power surge, I told myself. But I kept glancing at the box as I drove. It felt like it was watching me. 10 minutes in, I heard it. Tapping, very faint, from inside the box. I cranked up the radio. 25 minutes later, I turned onto Hemsley Street. It was eerily quiet. Every house looked identical, 2-story boxes with sagging porches and pale siding that seemed to glow faintly in the dark. 421 had its porch light on. Barely. Flickering. I approached with the box under one arm. Before I could knock, the door creaked open. A girl stood there, maybe 7, barefoot, thin, white nightgown. Pale skin that almost looked blue. Her eyes were sunken. Not tired. Empty. "Is that for us?" she asked. I cleared my throat. "I need to speak to Mrs. Teller." The girl didn't answer. She turned around and walked into the house. No sound from her footsteps. Just the soft swing of the door as it remained ajar. After a moment, a man appeared. Mid-40s. Dressed in a dark turtleneck. Tall, narrow shoulders. His face looked normal at first, until I saw his mouth. Lips pale. Eyes that blinked out of sync. "I can take it," he said. "I was told to hand it to Mrs. Teller," I replied. He didn't blink. "I was told only her," I said. backing a step away. The man took a step forward. She trusts me. The box shuddered in my hands. Something inside was moving, like it knew what was happening, like it didn't want to be taken by him. "I'll just come back later," I said, turning around. The man lunged. I bolted, sprinted down the porch steps and back to the car. The man followed, faster than I expected. His arms were too long, swinging in ways that didn't match his legs, like he was wearing a human suit that didn't quite fit. I slammed the door shut just as he reached me. He stood there, palms on the window, face close. His mouth was open now, unhinged. I backed out and sped off, tires squealing. I didn't know where to go, just drove, fast. I parked under a gas station light a few miles out. The box sat on the seat next to me, silent now. My hands were shaking. I knew I shouldn't look, but my curiosity got the better of me. I untied the red thread. Immediately, the air in the car shifted, like pressure dropped. The lid lifted itself. Inside was what looked like a mirror, but it didn't reflect me or the car. It showed a dark room, seemingly endless, walls of moving shadows, and in the center, a figure, tall, spindly. Its arms hung to its knees, its head swayed back and forth. Then its head snapped forward, and it saw me. No eyes, no mouth. I slammed the lid shut and tied the thread as fast as I could. Something inside the box screamed, not external, but in my head. A sharp, needling shriek that left a nosebleed trickling down my lip. I had to return it. I drove back to 421, but it wasn't the same house. The numbers were still on the mailbox. The porch light was still flickering. The house was still standing, but it wasn't the same house. The siding was a different color, dull gray instead of pale blue. The steps didn't creak like before. The windows were all blacked out, not boarded, just impossibly dark, like they swallowed light. There was no little girl, no man in the doorway, no sign anyone had ever lived there. I knocked. No answer. Peered through a window. Only a wall of concrete where the interior should have been. No rooms, no floor. Just a smooth slab stretching in all directions, like the house had been hollowed out and filled with stone. I stepped back, checked the number again. 421 Hemsley. The street matched. My GPS confirmed it. But the house? The house didn't remember me. I kept the box. What else could I do? That night, I locked it in my closet, buried it under clothes, tried to forget. I woke up to a tapping coming from the closet. I didn't move. The tapping turned into scratching, slow. The box was trying to get out. I stayed in bed until morning. Over the next week, I tried everything. I left it at a church. It returned to my front porch. I buried it in a public park. It was on my nightstand the next morning. I even tried to burn it. The flames recoiled, literally bent away from it. Each night, the tapping returns. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it scratches my name. Tonight, something's changed. I woke up to find the red thread unwound, the box open. The mirror inside shows a room now, a real one, with my bed, me, sleeping. But I'm not sleeping. I'm standing in front of it, watching it show me what's coming next. Behind me, in the reflection, something moves. Not the figure, the girl. She's smiling now. Her eyes are open wide, and she's whispering. The package wasn't for them. It's for you. I've been delivering pizzas for over 4 years. It's not glamorous, but it pays better than most people think, especially when you work nights and don't mind driving into weird parts of town. You get used to the quiet, the dark back roads, the half-drunk customers. You also get used to the strange ones. But this delivery? This one was different. It was a Thursday, dead slow. I was half watching a movie on my phone when the ticket popped up on the system. One large pizza, no toppings, cash. Delivery address, 1 Ashmere Road. Notes, please don't ring the bell, knock twice. I didn't recognize the street. It wasn't far, but it branched off a stretch of road that always gave me the creeps. Lots of trees, no streetlights, and no GPS coverage past a certain point. Still, a tip's a tip. I packed up the pizza, hopped in my beat-up car, and followed the map until it blinked out. After that, I just drove by instinct, looking for the right house number. The road narrowed the deeper I went. Gravel replaced pavement. Trees leaned closer. My headlights started catching things I couldn't quite identify, shapes just beyond the beam, shifting behind branches. Finally, I found it. An old house buried in shadows. Faded white paint, no car in the driveway, no lights in the windows. The porch looked crooked. A single wind chime hung from the overhang, but it wasn't moving, even with the breeze. Still, I had a job to do. I stepped out with the box in hand and walked up to the door. I remembered the note. Don't ring, knock twice. So I did. 2 knocks, sharp and clean. Nobody came to the door. I waited maybe 30 seconds. No sound, no footsteps, just wind moving through dry leaves. I knocked again. I heard a whisper, right behind the door. Not words, just the shape of a voice, like someone trying to speak through water. The door creaked open. Just an inch. No one was there. Pizza delivery, I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. Still nothing. I stepped forward, peered inside. The hallway was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing past the threshold. The air smelled wrong, like burnt hair and old wood soaked in something sweet. I didn't want to step in. But the policy says no pizza left unattended unless the customer confirms it. Hello? I said again. Then, suddenly, a voice from the dark. Come in. I froze. It was a woman's voice, but flat, tired, like someone repeating a line they'd said 1,000 times. I just need to collect payment. It's inside, she said. Something about the way she said it. It didn't sound like an invitation, more like a statement, a command. The floorboards creaked under my sneakers. I held the pizza like a shield, my eyes barely adjusting to the dark. Then, the hallway lit up. Not from overhead lights, from candles. Dozens of them lighting one by one as if someone was trailing ahead of me just out of sight. I followed them, calling out again. Hello? I've got your order. I just need the payment, and I'll be on my way. Silence. Then the candles led me to a room on the right. The door slowly opened on its own. Inside was a small parlor, dusty, cramped, books stacked to the ceiling. And sitting in the middle of it, in a high-backed wooden chair, was an old woman. She was facing the wall. I'm sorry for the delay, she said, her voice exactly like before. They took the others before they could deliver it. I blinked. Excuse me? She slowly turned her head. Not all the way, just enough to show her profile. Her skin was gray like concrete left in the rain. Her eyes didn't look at me. They looked past me. Do you know what you've brought? She asked. I swallowed. Pizza? She gave a smile that didn't reach her eyes. They made you the box. You don't even realize it. What are you talking about? She nodded toward the pizza. Open it, she said. I hesitated. I'll pay you if you open it. So I opened the box. And inside wasn't pizza. It was me. Not metaphorically. Literally me. My own face, staring blankly back up from a bloody impression curled inside the cardboard. I dropped the box and stumbled back. What the hell is this? I shouted. They hollow you out, she said calmly. Stuff you with copies and memories. Deliver you back to yourself. Over and over. She stood up, and her bones made a sound like dry twigs snapping. You knocked, so now you're ready. I sprinted. Ran back down the candlelit hall, past the whispering walls, through the front door, which wasn't open anymore. It was gone. No door, just solid wall. I turned, ready to run deeper into the house if I had to, but the hallway was gone too. I was standing in a single room. Stone walls. One candle. One chair. One pizza box, still open with my face inside. I don't know how long I've been here. Sometimes I hear footsteps above me. Sometimes I hear myself knocking from the other side. There's always someone new delivering. They always knock twice. And every time they do, another version of me arrives.